I wish I could go back and unmake the choices that led me down this path. Every night for the past 3 weeks, I've been trapped in a waking nightmare, paralyzed by fear of what's happening to me. It started so simply, but now an unfathomable evil is trailing my every move, waiting to drag me into the endless void. It all began with the dreams. At first, they were simple, commonplace nightmares, being chased by faceless figures. But then, the dreams took on a sinister pattern where the same cloaked figure would appear, watching me from the shadows. In the dreams, I was always wandering alone down long, dimly lit hallways or dark alleys. No matter where the setting, that ominous black-robed presence was there, silently observing me. Its face would morph and shift in the shadows, pale skin stretching taut over skull-like visage. I could never make out any distinct features other than the 2 gleaming eyes boring into me. Each dream, the figure inched closer, drifting in a way that defied physics. Just when it seemed only inches away, about to finally reveal itself to me, I would jolt awake in a cold sweat. Those dead, shining eyes would be ingrained into my vision, burning their image into my mind for long after I woke up. I did what I could to shake off the nightmares, telling myself they were just dreams and nothing more. Besides, I had my first year of college to focus on after graduating high school last spring. I was determined not to let some silly, recurring nightmares derail this new chapter of my life. But the dreams only grew more vivid and disturbing as the summer slipped away. Soon, that pallid, cloaked specter began appearing on campus during my dreaming hours, always watching me from the periphery whenever my subconscious mind wandered. Seeking any way to try and purge those nightmares, I started researching what that haunting figure could represent through dream analysis. I wondered if it was something lingering in my subconscious, like a fear of growing up and becoming an adult. Trying to find symbolism to rationalize it was better than admitting how deeply it was unnerving me. One restless night, I finally mustered the courage to confront the entity in my dream, demanding it reveal itself and what it wanted from me. Instead of answering, the black-robed phantom cocked its head in an unnervingly inhuman manner, opened its mouth, and let out an ear-piercing wail that made my ears ring. I awoke doubled over in agony, hands clasped over my head. That's when the figure began appearing outside of my dreams. At first, it was brief glimpses in my peripheral vision, watching me through a window in the middle of a lecture. A shrouded figure halfway down the sidewalk turning a corner just as I looked towards it. I tried convincing myself it was an illusion, my imagination getting the better of me after being haunted by those awful nightmares. But the encounters grew more frequent and unmistakable as the days wore on. Walking back from a late study group session one night, I looked over my shoulder and saw the entity gliding silently down the path behind me, pale face barely visible beneath its tattered cowl. Frozen in fear, I watched as it tilted its head once again, opened its mouth, and unleashed another deafening wail that seemed to reverberate endlessly inside my mind. I collapsed to my knees, cradling my head in agony until the ringing faded and I looked up to find it had vanished. After that night, the night terrors only worsened. The entity would be waiting for me every time I closed my eyes, its form more grotesque and disfigured each dream. I tried taking sleep medications to avoid dreaming altogether, but nothing could keep it at bay. It soon became apparent the entity wasn't confined to the realm of dreams any longer. While I fought to stay awake during the days through sheer caffeine and willpower, the apparition stalked me wherever I went, always looming just at the edge of my vision. My friends and family worried I was losing my grip on reality. I feared the same, but knew what I saw was unmistakably real. Physical objects would be knocked over or go missing whenever the entity was present, only to be found later in inexplicable places. In desperation, I turned to the occult for answers. I'll never forget the look of sheer terror on the old antiquarian's face when I showed her a picture I managed to take of it lurking across the street from my apartment building. She refused any payment, shoving the photo back and instructing me to leave immediately before showing me the door. So I scoured the internet, reading any information I could find about entities that could physically manifest. The descriptions all pointed to one terrifying possibility. I had become vulnerable to something older than the concept of time itself, a being from the endless void that lies between dimensions and planes of existence. According to the tales, these beings existed outside of our universe and perceived reality, only able to enter our world through the most depraved and forbidden rituals. Once they latched onto a person's subconscious, though, their hunting would never cease until they devoured that individual's soul whole. Night after night, the creature came into my dreams. It chased me through strange and twisting paths. Its face looked in pain and suffering. It had sharp teeth opening from different parts of its pale face. Each time, I woke up screaming. Then I would see that black-robed figure somewhere in my apartment. I was desperate to get away from the creature, so I went to see a weekend expert who knew about supernatural beings. She said the only way to break my connection to this evil ancient being was through a special ritual to transfer my soul. The Wiccan said the ritual would take my soul out of my body for a while. This would break the creature's connection to me while linking it to someone else. Then maybe I could send the creature back to where it came from. Even though she warned me the ritual was very dangerous and unpredictable, I had to try it. The creature would not stop until it took my soul completely. I had no other choice, no matter how risky it was. On the night of the ritual, I was tied up on an altar in the Wiccan's basement. Strange symbols were painted on the floor and walls. It smelled terrible from melted wax and burning herbs. The Wiccan started chanting in an ancient language. I felt an icy, dark presence getting stronger, even with the candle flames flickering. Right before everything went black, I saw the entity appear in the corner, screeching at me with its mouth wide open in hunger and rage. This time, I couldn't wake up from the nightmare.